Thanks for tuning in to the Matt and Seth Show, hosted by Seth Fisher, editor of mgoldblog.com, and Matt Demorest, Realtor and Lender. Presented by Realtor and Lender.com. Buy, sell, mortgage. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and go blue.
I can hear it now. Band take the field, and out of that eastern tunnel pour 250 well-drilled, well-disciplined Michigan bandsmen. They pour over the eastern sideline, they pour in the big block in, and they play the greatest college fight song ever written.
Seth, how's it going, friend?
I'm learning to smile like this so I don't show off my tooth. I had to take my driver's license photo today. And it's like this big dapless. like I'm going to have this for the next 5 years. I don't want to have this.
Well, like we talked about last week, it's a built-in Halloween costume. So, there is some value to it. So, all right. Well, we lost Illinois, and there wasn't a whole lot of positive. The defense played pretty well, I guess. I mean, Altmaier's good. I don't know. Talk me off the ledge.
They played well. The defense played well enough to win the game 5-3.
Yeah.
But you can't turn the ball over. You can't punt the ball 30 yards. So, there's more wrong than just the quarterback. Obviously, the quarterback is part of the turnovers. But, that's the thing. They got to figure out what they're good at. And I think that's what we wanted to talk about today. It's taken way too long.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it's like playing to strengths. We haven't played to the strengths. When Orgy was in there, didn't necessarily utilize him. It's like running the same thing over and over again that's not working seems to be happening. I know that Coach Moore talked some about trying to get people in positions to make plays, especially Mullings, who I don't think we're utilizing effectively. But I know you had some specific plays you wanted to take a look at.
Well, it's really the one play. And if you want to, talk about a good play, how are rates right now, Matt?
Yeah.
I know I was supposed to do that first.
Rates have bumped up a little bit towards the election, 6.75, somewhere in there. But after the election in a couple weeks, they'll come back down. So if you're holding off on refinancing, could be a good time to talk in a couple weeks. But that also means that houses are sitting a little bit longer. So if you're in the market to buy, it's a good time for it. So check out realtorandlender.com, realtorandlender.com. Easy to find me. It can help you buy, sell, or mortgage anywhere in Michigan. I cannot help you in Champaign, Illinois. I can help you in East Lansing. And I don't mind. I'll help out Sparty if I need to.
I don't mind your ads right now. They're not a political ad. Any ad but a political ad I can sit through at this moment. Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so here's the play. Now, just from this setup, I want you to tell me, what do you think Michigan's play is going to be? What are they going to run?
So if you got a bunch over there, there's a couple things that I think of. One is could do a wide receiver screen from over there, but I think we're going to run the zone. That's what I think we're going to run.
Okay. All right. And now, we get Bredeson in motion. Now, what do you think we're going to run?
I think we're going to run off right tackle.
Split zone, right? Like the
Yep.
same. Split zone is like the good old fashioned split zone, right?
Yep.
Take your tight end, take your best blocker, have him cross the line of scrimmage, right? That shifts them this way, and then you run zone, and it cracks them open, right? Good old fashioned split zone. We talked about what is Michigan good at. They're not good at throwing the ball, right? They're not good at developing a quarterback run game. They're not good at all these things, what they are good at. And it took them this long to get there, and mad about that, and that's those things about Kirk Campbell and whatnot. But you got Andrew Gentry, big old run blocker, right? You got Max Bredeson. That's your best blocker right there. There's Kalel Mullings, right? The best player in your offense, heading straight downhill. And look at all the space you get from his block. When you get that space, that creates more space here. These guys get more movement. The more movement they get, the bigger the hole. So what they've been doing, and I thought it's not like a complete disaster. They have been using motion to get the reactions they want, right? So when you have motion, here's a motion, and this is going to catch man. So you have this guy running here, and turns around. I've got to go this way. Oh, wait, nope. Go this way. Right? They got to go wherever that runner goes. But when you have all this weird motion, the guy we kind of want to watch is down here. Okay? Because the edges are where you get a lot of that space. Remember that play last time we saw Bredeson? He kicks that guy out so far. You see the other defensive linemen have to kind of shift over that way. They can't cheat to the other side of their blockers, right?
Right.
It's very subtle. It's just playing sports against each other. This is where the game just comes down to who's better and who can get away with the most. And the more you push a guy out, the more space you create, the more danger it is, and the more. So the idea of having all this motion here is to get that crack. And you don't need a ton, right? But if you get this guy rocking a little bit, see his little reaction there? You don't even have Bredeson on the field, but he's seeing all this motion. He thinks something's going to come his way, that he's going to have to run out here. This guy's a lot faster than he is. And even though it's his responsibility, you get this just a little bit of hesitation for him out there before he comes and attacks. And that space is the space you need for your kick out. That kick out creates the space for your second block, and that creates the space for your run, right? It's all about just keeping those edges wide. And the thing about Bredeson is he is just an instant win on the edge. So here we're doing the same motion with Bredeson, right? Now, they're not going to man with him. They don't have somebody running around with him because he's not going to outspeed anybody, right? So they don't get the same reaction, but that's a good thing. Watch this guy down here, this end. Watch his reaction as Bredeson starts coming towards him. See his feet start moving there? See how he's a little jelly leggy? It's because he's coming, right? Like, this dude is coming for you. And then they go after the other side. This guy comes in. Now, we don't get a big run off of this, but you'll see why when we go really slow. Right? So there's the impact. Boom. That guy gets knocked back. Bredeson gets down to this guy here. El Hadi gets this guy here. And you actually have some space to bounce because this guy's kind of coming in. Like, no one ever gets no one is in shape to make a tackle after Bredeson hits him. So this is like a thing that you have on this offense, which is like a cheat, right? You're going to win that block. And you're going to win that block even if this guy's coming in. Like, he's playing it correctly. You know, if you're coaching this guy out here, you're saying, okay, you did the right thing, right? You shuffled in, you came on the side, you didn't give yourself up, you didn't give up your shoulder. Doesn't matter, you're still gone, right?
Yeah.
There's no way to win a block against Bredeson. Now, if Edwards had jumped outside, he's got
that's
that.
Sort of a classic, unfortunately, a classic Edwards run. Some of them work. You know, we had the one last year in the Rose Bowl, but
I know. Oh, listen, and Mullings does it too. Well, I mean, you led me right into that, but like, here's another split zone. This is on a 4th and 2, or a 3rd and 2, so they just need a few yards. But see how they're crashing in on Bredeson, right? And it's like, okay, this side's going to be, there's going to be no way to run off this side. This guy's crashing in. He's probably going to meet the fullback right there, and then you're going to have to run off this side. And that's what Mullings is thinking. But look how this block goes. Long. Right? He just hits him so hard. And he comes in on an angle, and he gets that shoulder down like that. It's just an instant win. This is something you have that you have consistently that can be part of your offense. Now, they don't use it, but like, this is the block he runs off of. See this block by El Hadi?
Yeah.
He's pushed back in the backfield, and I mean, that's the block he's going to run off. He's got some space in here, right? So it's not a bad choice. But this guy's coming over here. He's going to have to fight El Hadi, and then that's what he gets. But had he chosen to bounce outside, which would have been an incredible. I mean, no one would coach you to go that, right? No one would coach you to go that route. You've got this guy coming down here unblocked. You got him coming in. Bredeson's technically on the inside, but it's there, right? That bounce is there.
It's there. It's there. And if El Hadi can seal the edge on that play, Seth, I mean, it's gone too. If you can see, if you can get his feet behind him and drive that defensive lineman inside, it's not far off on those blocking. When we go to this next play here, I just want to say one thing real quick. If I see Colston Loveland as an inside tight end one more time, I'm gonna pull my hair out. And he got burned trying to block a fair amount of times, especially on passing downs. It's like, how is he not running a route?
Well, yeah, and that is a question because look, I mean, on this play here, right? This linebacker is gonna be the one he's got to get down to, and he doesn't really get down to him. But it's not gonna matter. Right? Yeah, you're right though. I mean, like if he runs a route, but you want to get this guy blocked, so you do want to have somebody on the front side, and you want to threaten a little bit to keep this safety back. That safety is not attacking. This cornerback's not attacking because of that threat there. So I think he's doing fine here. But here is another example. It's that same block by Bredeson. Look how he comes in. He squares up, right? Like this is a kick-out block. You're expecting him to, boom, shoot that guy outside. He gets more. He just gets extra on his kick-out blocks. So same block that you saw last time. Comes in with that shoulder, and he's coming sideways. But because he's squared up, there's all that space to go off the side there. Now, they don't do it there. So, I mean, the question is, did he ever run off do they ever run off of that block? And the answer is they do. Now, here's another weird motion, right? Gets these guys moving because they got Edwards motioning in, cut a linebacker, and when he catches a linebacker, you want him to pass. But anyway, this play is actually using him as the second blocker, right? He comes in, here's the lead blocker. Here he is on the edge, squared up, right? He gets inside of him. So technically, right, this is the lane, right? But Edwards is bouncing and has the ability to do so just because it's the force, right? This is what I'm talking about when you have, now they're threatening. See, this guy's reacting. Right? Because he's coming that way, and then he reverses course. It's a counter, right? He gets El Hadi. El Hadi takes him out. But this block by Bredeson this is just what you get when you have a good player, right? Squared up. He blocks the guy. The guy is technically on the outside. But because there's just so much oomph in his blocks, because he moves him, that creates the space. It's all vertical space. And that's plenty for Edwards to bounce out, get around, and get a good gain. When you have that, right? When you have that that kind of guy who can just make that kind of difference, I mean, it opens up everything else. So they're running play action right at the top of the game here. Bring him across. That's the split zone look, right? They're looking like they're running split zone. Look at the linebacker reaction here. Now, I'm not going to show you Tuttle's throw because it was a Tuttle throw. But, the reaction is good, right? You're creating easy throws if your quarterback can make them because those linebackers are just reacting so hard to anything that looks like split zone because they know it's dangerous. Here's another split zone. Again, you're not going to want to watch the actual throw here. But look at the reaction. I mean, the hat's been high for a while, right? Look at the fake handoff is here, okay? It's barely a fake handoff, and these guys are still coming down, right? Like they're still down here right by the line of scrimmage. There's all this space to throw into, and you got, he's this guy's coming down as a robber. He's being held and being tackled, actually.
Yeah, and if that ball is delivered on the eye, right? If that ball's thrown right there, Seth, and delivered on the eye, that's a touchdown. I mean, he's beat at the bottom. He's got him to the inside. Oh, yeah. He's above the safety. And that's not this is a 35-yard throw.
I'm not talking about the throwing. I'm not going to show you the throw.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Your memory's good enough. Your memory will know where the throw went.
I know it wasn't a completion.
But you can see it's there, right? The throw is there. If you have, and the quarterback should be watching it. And this guy is down here. He's in this robber position because this guy's down here. He's covering for the linebacker. Linebacker's down here because they think they've got, they got to deal with this run. Okay? The other thing you can actually do is it's such a threat that you can run away from it. So here he is coming across, right? He's spreading out. They're all focused on it. Like Bredeson coming across is a problem, right? So you're thinking about it. And because they're thinking about it, they're not thinking about these polars. They get across, you get a nice trap, and you actually get a little decent run on second down there. The other thing you could do too is have them go in a different gap, right? So here's you got a small outside linebacker here. You see the little bounce, you see the anticipation as soon as he starts coming across, right? So you got your tight end coming across first, Klein, and they're reacting to that. They're trying to get outside. They think, oh, Klein's coming. Then they see Bredeson coming, and Bredeson goes in this gap.
Yeah,
And
that's
you have all,
nice.
and you have all the space. Now, you said, you're giving Edwards a hard time. Mullings actually misses this cut because he could get into here and go through here. Instead, he just runs him over. But
Well, let me be clear.
yeah,
I am a very positive. I don't like to talk negatively about these players. One, they're kids. I mean, we're not kids anymore. Um, it's just difficult to see, when nothing's happening and there's that cut that's outside. Those are the ones that are hard to watch because, if you watch enough football, you kind of see it on TV. People who don't watch much football, if I'm watching with them, I say touchdown, like when the ball's leaving the line of scrimmage a lot of times. And those are the tough ones.
I mean, here's where, I'm kind of lost on Campbell and whatnot is you see this game, you see what's going on. You see that they recognize, intellectually at least, they recognize that this is their best play. Split zone should be Michigan's major, right? You have big offensive tackles who can block down. You have Max Bredeson, who is going to be a money block whenever he does that, right? You can run arc read off of it or bluff read, whatever you want to call it, right? You can run, so you can use your quarterback running game involved in that. You can run, you can run RPOs off of it. It's a very base play. It's a play that every coach wants to have the guys to run. We have the guys to run it. And, you see those little subtle things, right? Like the fact that he gets those square blocks and he gets movement, and then Edwards realizes he can cut off of that. And you get that by practicing. You get it by seeing it, right? The more times you see the little subtle things happening, the more you can react to them and the better you get at it. And that was kind of what Michigan was for a long time. They were good at duo. They were good at their inside zone, and they were good at their power play. They were good at their counter play, and they got used to knowing exactly how to, cut exactly at the right moment and what was really going to kind of screw around with somebody. I mean, Corum just became a master at it. And that mastery is when you become a really good offense. We're not anywhere near that. We're at the point where we got to understand what we're good at and major off of that. And I think what happened in this game is it got away from them and they started throwing the ball. So you have your second drive, you go to Mullings and you go to split zone and you base things off the split zone and you move the ball. And then the next drive, they want to throw it. And when they and then they fumble it, and the next drive they want to throw it. And I don't think they came back to this until the third quarter when they started getting really big long drives again. So it's clear what Michigan can do. It's clear that there's a ceiling on how good this team can be because they don't have talent to really punish the overreactions to that, but they do have the talent to somewhat punish, right? You can throw the ball up to Loveland and have him come down with it. You can do things. You can have the quarterback run it. Like there are counters to the ways that people are going to attack this. And I think we have our base. I'm upset that it took us this long because if anyone was looking at this team in the spring, they would have said, this is our base play. This is what we do well. But I mean, at least they're recognizing it and they're basing plays off it. And they use the bye week to kind of create ways to use the fear of Bredeson against the defense in order to make the other things open up, or maybe things open up, behind Bredeson himself.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. It's just,
I mean,
it's rough, but that's what we want to see.
And Sharon Moore did kind of get asked on Inside Michigan Football the other day. Jaden Davis, he said, sounds like there's a chance he could be in the mix or get on the field. What's your, I mean, obviously at this point, people are like, oh, you don't want to burn a red shirt. Well, red shirts don't really count. If he's as good as everybody hopes he is.
Here's his thing.
Okay.
I don't think Jaden Davis is an NFL quarterback.
Okay.
I actually saw him in person recently. He's not a big guy. And he's not going to blow away the NFL people with his arm. So his value is going to maximize, likely, I'm not saying I know the future, right? But the most likely scenario is Jaden Davis's value is going to maximize his fifth year of college. So I think it's smart for him to want a redshirt. I think that was the deal. I think that they are sticking to the deal. I think it's smart for them to stick to their promises. They said that this guy wants to be an excellent college quarterback down the road, and I think that it's the right move. Now, we're close to only having 4 games. So at that point, I don't think we're going to the Big Ten championship. I don't think we're going to the playoff, right? So, but I mean, are you going to start him at night against a rival?
I don't know whether
you start him now. You still have 5 games left.
Yeah, I don't know whether you start, but I mean, out of those 5 games, you got some big ones.
Yeah.
If you feel like it gives you a chance to win this one, I think we're at the point of the season where a win versus Michigan State and a win versus Ohio State, which is really unlikely, unfortunately. I don't want to say that out loud again, but
Dude, a win versus Indiana is unlikely.
yeah. So like, do you play them in the ones that matter most left? Because there are, we got Oregon, we got Ohio State.
I think you'll see him probably starting next week. I think that you'll see him when we're getting blown out by Oregon or getting blown out by Indiana, when we're mopping up at Ohio State. I
don't know if you noticed with my virtual background, Seth, I got like the Back to the Future hat going on right now. So got to get that fixed. But yeah, I think you're probably right, but it'll be interesting to see him hit the field. So the Michigan State game is coming up this weekend, night game. Obviously, it's a huge one. It kind of winning the big games against our rivals in a season that's not going well. They just seem to matter more. What's your take going into this weekend?
I mean, my sense is that the best team always wins this game. Michigan has better players. Michigan State is much better coached. I hate that I'm saying that right now, but I mean, that's kind of the feel. And it's got a very 2017 vibe where Michigan's going to shoot themselves in the face. Michigan State's managing to solve their problems. I mean, they're ranked below Michigan in offense this year in SP+. But that is based off of Childs throwing the ball away every other right?
Yeah.
So I mean, he can blow up in any direction. So if we're without Will Johnson, that's really going to hurt us. And I think they figured out what to do with him against Iowa, I thought, which is protect him a little bit. Don't let him throw the ball down the red zone too much. And if they kick field goals, they kick field goals. They kicked 5 field goals and they won the game. So I think that's going to be a thing to watch. Michigan, if they played Michigan State early in the season, I think Michigan runs away with it. I think at this point, State is starting to get better. Michigan is still just figuring out who they are. They don't even know who their quarterback is. We might have a Davis Warren this week. We're talking about using our 4th quarterback.
Yeah.
So I think that the state of the programs right now is the reason why Michigan fans don't feel good, even though Vegas disagrees with us. On the other hand, it's at night, home game. Michigan State actually sold a lot of their allotment, and Michigan would not give it back. So I think it's going to be a more blue crowd than usual in a Michigan State game. But I mean, these teams are kind of on the same level right now. Michigan is, not for the same reasons, but there's kind of a pick 'em. I don't know.
Yeah, I think there's gonna be more points in this game. I'll give you my score, and it's not a good one. I think we're gonna lose 28-27 on a field goal, and I very much hope I'm wrong. What do you think, Seth?
Unleash Zavada, and it's Michigan 18, Michigan State 19. There you go.
Might as well play
That's
soccer.
kind of where I'm going.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not going to be a great game, but
Seth, one reminder with all those negatives. We did beat Alabama in the Rose Bowl and beat Washington to win the national championship.
Remember that.
Just barely 10 months ago. So I
remember that.
Yeah, got to feel 9 months ago. You got to feel good about it from that perspective. When I look at it, I posted something on Instagram, but I've seen 2 national championships and I think 11 outright Big Ten championships in my 40-some plus years on this earth. And we don't win one every year. When you win one 3 years in a row, you start to feel like that's how Big Ten championships work, and it's not.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not miserable about. I'm not like I'm able to get through this season. I've got more than enough love built up from the last 3 seasons, from that championship, from like the perfect team last year, and I mean, like you're gonna be like, are you gonna be that annoyed when you're sitting around like when Spartans try to be like cheater? Like, man, your program's never going to mean anything. So we just won the championship. We all know it, and like it's so ridiculous that you can't it's not going to bother me at all.
Remember that one time 12 years ago you went to the Rose Bowl?
I mean, it bothers. I'm not a Michigan State hater,
No.
but I'm like I hate the hate that comes out of Michigan State. It drives me nuts. There's no reason to do that. I mean, we should fight over whether we have winter in the Winter Waterland license plate. That's the kind of argument we should be having, right? Like Ohio State's the haters. Don't be like them.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's
It's
all.
all
That's
love.
all for me.
It's
That's
all
all
love.
for me.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, go blue. Let's have something to smile about this season starting next week. And I just want to see some improvement. I want to see some coaching that looks like it's going well, some improvement, and some hope for next year. And it's always awesome talking to you, man. Go blue.
Go blue.
Thanks for tuning in to the Matt and Seth Show, hosted by Seth Fisher, editor of mgoldblog.com, and Matt Demorest, Realtor and Lender. Presented by Realtor and Lender.com. Buy, sell, mortgage. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and go blue.